Hello, and welcome back to the accounting module. In our previous lesson, we reviewed the assets feature. In this lesson, we will review the accounting feature, deferral. The deferral feature in Odoo allows you to postpone the recognition of revenue or expenses to a later period. It is particularly useful in situations where you need to account for revenue or expenses that span multiple periods or are realized over time. For example, deferred revenue may be an annual subscription, where the revenue gained should be evenly recognized over the period of the full year. Or a typical deferred expense would be rent, where you may get a bill for the year but will recognize the cost on a monthly basis in your profit and loss report. By utilizing the deferral feature, you can ensure that financial transactions are accurately recorded in the appropriate accounting periods. This helps maintain the integrity of your financial statements and facilitates better tracking and reporting of deferred items. Let's navigate to Accounting, Configuration, Settings. Now, scroll down to the Default Account section. Here we can see settings for both deferred expense entries and deferred revenue entries. The journal setting is the journal the activity will be recorded under. The deferred expenses and revenue nominal codes will show which current liability or current asset accounts will hold the deferred monies until they are released into the appropriate expense or revenue accounts. The Generate Entries drop-down allows the selection of On-Bill Validation, which will automate the deferral entries, or manually and grouped, which should be used if you would prefer to generate the entries manually. Finally, the Based On drop-down will set the manner in which the deferral entries are released. The options here are days, months, and full months. Let's consider an invoice of £1,200 which must be deferred over a year. The Days option will allocate amounts based on the number of days in each month, i.e. January would be allocated £102 and February would be allocated only £92. This is calculated by dividing the £1,200 by 365 days, then multiplying by 31 days for January and 28 days for February. The Full Months option assumes an even £100 per month, whereas the Months option takes this one step further and proratas the amount by the number of days in that month. For example, if the invoice was dated on the 15th of the month, it will allocate £50. This option will require a partial 13th month entry to complete the deferral. Let's leave these settings as On-Bill Validation and Full Months, and let's see deferrals in action. Beginning with deferred revenue. Let's suppose we sell an annual subscription to our customers, and the money is paid by our customer in one lump sum when we send the invoice for the annual subscription. But we want to recognize it as revenue over a period of the next 12 months. Let's go to Customer Invoices. Click on New to generate an invoice for an annual subscription costing £1,200. It is important to ensure the start and end date are displayed in this table. These can be found by clicking the slider button and checking the start date and end date boxes. Let's set the start date for today and set the end date in 1 year's time. Once we are happy with the invoice, we can post by clicking Confirm. We now see a new Smart button has appeared called Deferred Entries, which show us the breakdown of how the £1,200 will be deferred and released. As with our assets, the entries in blue are for future dates. Now let's see an example of a deferred expense. Let's navigate to Vendors, Bills, and click on New to generate a supplier invoice for office rent at £12,000. As before, let's set the start date for today and the end date in 1 year's time. We will select a bill date, then post the bill by clicking Confirm. The Deferred Entries button appears, and clicking through shows us a breakdown of how this expense will be deferred. In summary, the deferral feature in Odoo enables you to defer the recognition of revenue or expenses, ensuring that they are accounted for in the correct periods, thereby enhancing the accuracy and reliability of your financial records. That's it for this lesson. Why don't you head to the next lesson, where we will explore the budget functionality of Odoo Accounting. Thanks for watching, and until next time.